Got her, Nick said, looking down at her too. He was holding a gun and his hand was shaking. Got her. Valerie's boyfriend Nick opened fire on the school's cafeteria. Shot trying to stop him. Valerie becomes a hero in some eyes and the villain in others. After all, she did help him plot his targets, all thanks to the list. The Hate List by Jennifer Brown. Most days I found it totally ironic Mom drove Frankie to school because he hated to ride the bus. Well, I rode the bus because I hated the excruciating car rides with Mom. Usually, I could crawl into a seat somewhere in the middle, sink down into a C shape, my knees propped against the seat in front of me, listening to my MP3 player, and completely disappear. But lately, Christy has been a real pain. It's not like that's news or anything. I couldn't stand Christy anyways. Never could. She got on 2 stops after me, which could work in my favor on most days because I had time to get invisible before she got on the bus. Not that I was scared of her or anything, I just got sick of dealing with her. I turned on my MP3 player and leaned my head back against my seat and closed my eyes. I felt a bump against my arm. I figured it was someone walking past and ignored it. Then I felt the even harder one and someone used the cord to snatch the earbud out of my right ear. "What the heck?" I said, pulling the bud out of my left ear. I looked to the right, and there was Christy, smiling on the other side of the aisle. "Go away, Christy." I pushed my earbuds back into my ears and settled back into my C shape, closing my eyes. There was another yank on the cords of my earbuds, so hard my whole MP3 player flew out of my hand and skittered across the bus floor. I picked up the blank screen MP3 player, flipped the switch on, then off, then back on again. Nothing. It was dead. "God, what's your problem?" I said. I held up my MP3 player. "You're going to pay for this." I moved down the aisle and stepped down onto the sidewalk. Nick was there when I reached him. I wrapped myself around him. We started walking, our hips bumping one another with each step. "I'd let you borrow my MP3 player, but Christy busted it on the bus." "I've been wanting to do something about her for a long time," he said. "I know, I totally hate her," I whined. "I don't know what her problem is." "I'll take care of it." I smiled, excited. Nick opened the door and waited for me to go ahead in front of him. "Let's go get this finished," he said. I nodded, heading towards the commons, my eyes peeled for Christy. "Over there," I said, pointing. "There she is." Nick unzipped his jacket slowly, but he didn't take it off. "Let's go finish this," he said. His eyes took in a strange faraway look and he began walking briskly through the crowd ahead of me. He wasn't paying any attention to where he was going. He was just walking through people, his shoulders butting theirs and knocking them backwards. He reached Christy a few steps before I did. I had to crane my neck to see over his shoulder. He must have bumped her shoulder like she did to me on the bus. She turned around with a surprised look on her face and said, "What's your problem?" "You've been on the list for a long time," he said, and I immediately went cold. I couldn't believe he just told her about the list. That was our secret between us, and he just blew it. "What list?" she said. Then she looked down and her eyes grew big. She started to laugh. I pulled on to my tiptoes to see, and there was a noise.